and attending the Republic Day in India as the prime guest of honor. We have the pleasure to have this phone with Ambassador Suad Shalabi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Shalabi, Egypt was invited, and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was invited as the prime guest of honor in India to attend on Thursday the Republic Day of India, or the National Day. How do you see the importance of this, and what does this reflect of the size of Egypt and the good relations and the important ties that links the two countries?
This is a very important step towards a promotion between the relations between Egypt and India. As you know, the two have an ancient civilization and have a big population, and there has been a long history of occupation between of England to the two countries, and there were a lot of history in whether it is in politics or in economics. So inviting the Egyptian president to attend or participate as the chief guest is a big event, and it is the first time to happen. He will be, the President Sisi will be accompanied by a large delegation, including a military contingent that will participate in the celebration of the Indian National Day Parade. And also he will meet the President and the Prime Minister of India. And there will be a lot of discussions to promote political ties, especially the invitation that was made to President Sisi to attend the G20, which is hosted by India, but it will take place in New Delhi in September, next September. So this is a very good opportunity for the two countries to talk about future relations, and also the role of Egypt in the G20 later this year.
Yes, Your Excellency, Ambassador Shalabi, also there is a great and a big size of cooperation between Egypt and India, and especially in the new administrative capital. India have 350 fiddans in the new administrative capital, and it has been building their medical complex there, which has or encompasses some hospitals, clinics, and several projects that has been established there in the new administrative capital, which reflects the size of cooperation between Egypt and India, as Egypt is establishing this national mega project, the new administrative capital. Also, there is a big cooperation between Egypt and India in the field of new and small and medium enterprises, which President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have gave directives to boost it in Egypt and provide the Egyptian youth all the facilities and provide them from the banks to help them and afford that they could open their projects. Could you give us your insight concerning the cooperation that we already see on the ground, which is over there in the new administrative capital?
Yes, this is true, because Egypt has shown its great level, its very high level of technology in producing the vaccines and in producing the medical equipment, and that is why when Egypt has faced the COVID-19 pandemic, India has procured 50,000 vaccine doses in early 2020 and 21, I mean, and then India requested 300,000 doses of medication made in Egypt that to fight the second wave of COVID in May 2021. So that means that the the investors, the Indian investors, have a lot of confidence in Egypt and in the production of vaccination and in production of medical equipments and medicines. So that is why they have decided to invest in the new capital, in this big investment in medical center. Also, because we have the bilateral trade have expanded by 75%, and this is the highest level of trade, $7.26 billion. That means that it has grown a lot during 2022. So we hope that 2023 is also a good sign for investment. You have said about also small and medium enterprises, and after the COP27, India have decided to operate in Egypt by funding 50 Indian companies, direct employment, to employ 38,000 Egyptians, and to invest $3.2 billion in the chemical, energy, automobile, retail, agricultural sectors. All this investment accumulating to $800 million. This is for the small and medium enterprises and for green technology, like the green hydrogen, the green ammonia. They have also committed themselves to finance companies that are worth $18 billion in the field of climate change and green technology.
Yes, Your Excellency, Ambassador Shalaby, also in the field of culture, there is a big cooperation between Egypt and India. And as we all know that culture gets people and the countries more closer to each other, more able to know each other. So could you give us your insight concerning the cultural side and cooperation between India and Egypt, and especially that every year there's an annual festival that the Embassy of India here in Egypt make every year, which is India by the River Nile, which is a cultural event that takes place every year. Hello?
Yes, it is true. India and Egypt in the field of culture are very close. They are maybe competitors because, as you know, Egypt is the biggest producers of films and cultural programs in the Middle East and in the Arab world, and India is the same in Asia. So the center of the cultural center between the cultural exchange between Egypt and India is very obvious because of the high role that Egypt is playing in the film industry and in the cultural activities. That is why the ambassador of India to Egypt, to Cairo, Ajit Gupta, has also invited the Egyptian and the Indian cultural he has hosted cultural events in Egypt to promote the relations between Egypt and India in the field of culture.
Yes, Your Excellency, Ambassador Shalaby, as you've mentioned that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is scheduled to meet with the Indian President and also with the Indian Prime Minister. So could you give us an idea about what would be the files that they are going to discuss with each other?
Yes, of course. As you know, our political aspirations, Egypt and India are almost aligning with all the non-alignment countries. So they are leaders for a non-alignment. since Jawaharlal Nehru and since Nasser's time, Egypt and India have put the basis for the non-alignment movement, and now it is very important that this movement starts being stronger again, and it needs the support of all the big countries like Egypt and India and from Africa. Actually they are more than 77, but they had been called 77 countries, but they are maybe more than 120 countries that have to discuss how to revitalize the role of the non-alignment during because of the war of Ukraine. It has been a very important for Egypt and India to take a positive stance towards being non-alignment, and also to encourage the other states. And the two presidents have been discussing this before, and now because there will be a summit, they will discuss the role of Egypt and India in the world, and also in preparing for the G20. How will Egypt to cooperate with India and with other countries, big countries in the non-alignment movement, in order to save their countries from the food crisis and the energy crisis, because these two crises are affecting all the countries, not only Egypt and India. So they should be the leaders for the world. In Africa and Asia, there are many poor countries and many developing countries who need the products and need the vision for the future, the strategy. They will talk about the strategy, how to lead Africa and Asia during this summit.
Yes, Your Excellency, Ambassador Chalabi, the President is accompanied by a high-level delegation, and he is expected to meet with the Indian businessmen and the business community in India in several business events. What are the horizons of economic and trade cooperation between the two countries, and what do we expect from signing agreements and accords in this field?
Well, it's very important to the delegation that is accompanying to increase the trade, the bilateral trade, and also increase the investments of India to Egypt, and also vice versa, to increase the Egyptian trade to India, because a lot of products that are produced by Egyptian companies is also have a market. So in India and in the Asian countries. So it is the best way to talk about how to promote the Egyptian products in India, and how to secure the investments of Egypt and of India in Egypt, in order to increase those investments. So they need the two joint commissions between the Indian and the Egyptian are going to hold joint business council meetings, and they will try to boost the trade and to boost the commerce, and they will activate the institutional mechanism that was held between Egypt and India in the 5th joint trade agreement and joint business discussion that was held in July 2022.
Yes.
So it is high time to implement those directives that have been taken place in order to promote the bilateral trade.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Your Excellency Ambassador Suad Shalabi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break and I'm going to be back with you.